Welcome back, friends, to the Castro Valley News live show. Good evening to Laura. Good evening to Dennis. Let's jump right into the roll call. Sorry for the pause here. It seems like every week Facebook changes their Facebook Live interface login thing, so it's different every single time. So I'm just trying to acclimate myself. We're gonna go right into the $2 word. Acclimate might be like the $2 word for tonight. Good evening to Kimberly. Good evening to Todd. Good evening again to Dennis. Good evening, Laura. So we're here in the roll call. Somebody just threw some stars our way. Thank you, Todd. Just gave us 50 stars. You are my hero. Our moderator says every Friday night at midnight, apparently Facebook uploads their their Facebook interface. I'm sorry, that just tickled me. That's hilarious. Good evening to thanks again, Todd, for the stars. I appreciate that. So Maggie is in the house, and Maggie is tagging a lot of people. Maggie is tagging Brian, Christian, Chris. Thank you so much, and good evening to you again, Maggie. If you're new to the show, what we do every Tuesday at 7 p.m. is we have a live show here. My name is Roberto. Good evening. I don't usually introduce myself, and for once I actually remembered to do that. And we start off the show every Tuesday, and we do a roll call, so we get to say hello to each other. And Maggie is also tagging Satinder, and I think Satinder is the owner of Aroma Cuisine, a wonderful restaurant in town, and she's a sweetheart. I've known Satinder for a long time. She's awesome, and if you've never tried Aroma, go do it. They are good. So we're doing the roll call here. And Maggie also tagged Venia. So if you're listening and you want to shout out, post up a comment and we'll give you a shout out. So it's a cool way for us to get to know. Oh, Kimberly, good evening. I think I totally glossed over you and I apologize. And let me backtrack and thank Dennis, because it seems like just about every time that we mention that we have a pledge page, Dennis definitely steps up to the plate and makes a donation. So Dennis, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And we appreciate everyone who's listening to the show. Yes. Good evening, Christian. Hope you're doing well. Maggie says best Indian food, and Aroma definitely is good. Nice people, they care about the community, and Maggie's giving a shout out to Marlon Body, the owner of Body Mechanics. I've met Marlon a couple times. He's an awesome guy. Really cool gentleman who cares about our community. Good evening, Matella. I hope you're doing well. Yes, Christian is mentioning the restaurant walk. Good evening, Michael. I hope you're doing well. And Christian's mentioning the restaurant walk 2021, 921 in the village in the marketplace. From what I understand, that event is sold out. And I need to move this light because I'm really, really bright tonight. The light is making me bright. Maggie is tagging more people. I should probably lean back. These are all good problems because before, I don't know if you guys remember the first night that we went live with video. It looked like I was doing the show from the end of a tunnel when the sun went down. And just cruising through the comments here. Christian says restaurant walk 2021 thanks to Lions Castro Valley. Put on by Castro Valley Rotary, and if you're not familiar with the Castro Valley Rotary, I believe the current president is none other than Todd Anglin. And Todd is also involved in the Chamber of Commerce. Todd's an awesome guy who does a lot of stuff behind the scenes for our community. And Maggie is tagging a ton of people that I know. Actually, Michael Tacconi, I've known Mike for a while. Todd says there are a couple of tickets left to the restaurant walk. We have 2 tickets that we will be giving away tonight during the Midway giveaway. We also have a gift certificate to, I don't know if you can see that, super bright. There you go. $25 gift certificate to Pizza Express. If you've never had Pizza Express handmade by BJ, you're missing out, and you should go there now, and you should do everything within your power to win the Midway giveaway. And if you don't, then you should just go down and say hello to BJ and tell him that Roberto with Castro Valley News sent you. Awesome guy. I don't need to tell you guys how cool and generous and personable and just friendly BJ is at Pizza Express, and the pizza is fire. The pizza at Pizza Express is awesome. We did a review not too long ago with Cedric at Pizza Express, and I will ask our moderator to find that video and post that up because it's a good episode. Christian, you're welcome for the support. Thank you for the support as well. Just looking through the comments here to make sure I'm not passing over anybody in the roll call. And Christian is mentioning the proceeds from the Restaurant Walk benefit, Castro Valley Rotary Foundation, that does good works in the community. Also, a moderator said 1 hour till the polls close. Hope everyone exercised their power of the vote. I wanted to touch base on the election as well later, but I want to make sure I'm not missing people in the roll call, which I already have. I missed Jean. Good evening to you. Good evening, Troy. Hope you're doing well. Maggie is tagging a bunch of different people as well. Maggie is tagging Vera and lots of other folks. Thank you so much, Maggie. You are just attracting so many people to the show, and I appreciate it. Good evening, Brenda. Hope you're doing well. And Brenda says BJ is a very nice guy and a great addition to the community. Braided pizza crust is delish. The one thing that Cedric had there that I had never tried before, I think it's the garlic Alfredo. Fire. Crazy. So good. And Maggie is also tagging a lot of the people. We're still kind of flirting, so to speak, with the roll call. And if you want a shout out, definitely just post up a comment. We'll say hello to you. Someone just tossed us some stars. David, thank you for the 50 stars. And good evening to Mike de Guzman. It says Guzman de Mike, but I think it's Mike. Steven says, "Holy cow! It's Tuesday already." Yeah, it seems like time flies when you're doing something. Let me make sure I get the camera centered so I don't. We were just like losing my head in there. I didn't have the adjustment proper here. Apologies. Yes. Our moderator says second word of the night is fire. Or it could be fire. Yes, definitely. Pizza Express is fire. They are good, and BJ is awesome. Somebody else just threw us some stars, and I can't. Whoa, Maggie sent 500 stars. Thank you so much. You are awesome. So if you're not familiar with what the stars thing is with Facebook, they just implemented this not too long ago, and what it is. You can, I think you purchase some stars, and of course Facebook gets a certain percentage, but the majority goes to us, and it's a cool way that you can throw a couple quarters, dollars our way, and we definitely appreciate all the love, and it's kind of fun because you get a definite shout out. Thank you. Maggie sent 100 stars, and Maggie is just tagging half of Castro Valley. There's Margaret. You're awesome, Maggie. I appreciate. Maureen just sent 99 stars, and good evening to you, Maureen. I don't think I hit you in the. I didn't mention you in the roll call, so thank you for the 99 stars. And Maggie is also tagging a lot of other people, just making sure. I think what's happening is I'm scrolling the screen, and it looks like my head is disappearing. Yes, and Mike says, do not forget to vote. No interruption at all, Mike. So let's talk about the election for a second. And I don't think we're going to be getting any results in for a while. Some of the websites might have some preliminary results already, but I wanted to mention to you guys a statistic that I heard earlier today. Let me see if I can pull this up. It was a statistic that I texted to myself as soon as I heard it on the radio. And of course I deleted it. But I wanted to, of course, Maggie says, shh. How much? Someone asked, how much do you pay Maggie per tag, and how do I get her? I think her rate or something like that. You guys are great. Oh yeah, Todd said, how much do you pay Maggie per tag, and how do I get her on my sales team? Randall says, I've been eating the vegetarian pizza at Pizza Express for years. They are the best. They are probably, since Paisano's closed, they are probably the best pizza in Castro Valley. I know that's kind of a contentious thing, but during their day, Paisano's was fire. I'm gonna say fire again. Paisano's was the bomb. Paisano's was amazing. So yes, like Mike said, definitely vote. There's still time. I think the polls close at 8. Good evening, Cali Life. Cali Life is in the house. Cali Life, thank you for everything that you do to keep me and everyone else in the know with things happening in town. Cali Life sends a bunch of things that they see around town, and like I always say, and I dwell on a lot, without you guys, Castro Valley News really wouldn't be much. It would be okay, but you guys make it so much better because you guys are like boots on the ground and you see stuff happening all the time and bring it to my attention. I don't want to miss the Midway giveaway, and I'm wondering where Bob is. Because it's weird to have a show and not have Bob chiming in. Bob, are you out there? Calling Bob. Jan says she loves Pizza Express. I love Pizza Express. I love BJ, and it's so much better that they do great pizza. BJ's just an awesome guy. Always a smile. Always saying, hey, boss man. Hey, boss man. So Maggie is tagging Awa and also tagging Tim. So one more time, if you're listening, you want to shout out, we start the show with the roll call, and then 7:30 we do the Midway giveaway. We will be giving away $25 to Pizza Express, and we will also be giving away 2 tickets to the restaurant walk. Moderator asked what happened to the turtle, and from what I understand, the turtle went to the turtle rescue. And someone said that there are 2. But it went to the turtle rescue that I am familiar with, and they are off of Anita, I think. They're somewhere in the neck of the woods where Anita is. It's Gary and Ginger, and we did a video with them some time ago, quite a few years ago, and their backyard turtle refuge is amazing. They have massive tortoises and turtles. And to answer our moderator's question, someone commented that turtle was going to that turtle rescue. So there's a happy ending to that. And then someone else mentioned that there was another turtle rescue in Castro Valley in the hills somewhere. So how cool that we have 2 turtle rescue organizations here in Castro Valley. And oddly enough, on the same street as Gary and Ginger's turtle rescue, there's a rabbit rescue. I think it's Bananas for Bunnies, which is another cool organization. Kimberly mentions no Bob and no Don. So we're missing the 2 staples of our show. And just to let you guys know, earlier this week, actually it was last Wednesday. So not this week, it was last Wednesday after last Tuesday's show. I texted Don at One Bad Apple Records. I'm gonna plug his business till the cows come home, and I let him know that people were wondering where he is and that we miss his presence. And he said, "Hey, thanks, doing okay." So maybe he's busy with life. Maybe he's found a better live show than ours. Either way, it's cool. We still love you, Don. If you're listening, Don, we all love you. We all miss you. Come participate if you can. If not, that's okay. Don is the owner of One Bad Apple Records that's on Castro Valley Boulevard across from Pete's Hardware. We are lucky to have an independent record store here in our town. If you like vinyl, if you like music, if you like talking about music, Don is your go-to dude. If you have something special that you're looking for, and this is not a commercial, I'm just telling you firsthand experience, Don is your go-to guy. He knows a ton of stuff. He's a super awesome guy. Got a huge heart, cares a lot about the community and issues that are happening in town. So One Bad Apple Records. Brain got ahead of my lips right there. So let's kind of cruise around in the roll call again. And there are other things that I'm sure we would all like to talk about. Oh, yeah, let me just touch base real fast on something that I wanted to mention to you guys, because I know it was like the hottest issue in town the past few weeks. That was the that assault that happened at Creekside a couple weeks ago. I reached out to my contact with the sheriff's department. There's nothing new happening with that. I think something new will be happening in the next couple weeks. And Maggie says Don sounds like an awesome guy. Maggie, he is. Go see him. Go say hello. Even if you're not into records or not particularly into music, go say hello. He is an awesome dude. He's a sweetheart. He's just a genuinely nice guy. Daniel says thank you for doing the show. You're a good dude. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate your compliment and I appreciate your support, and thank you for listening to the show. So I guess getting back to the assault, it really was it was a fight between a couple of students that really turned ugly. There's nothing new on that, and I know a lot of people were asking and wondering, and probably a lot of people are probably scratching their heads thinking, what's happening? I'm following it, and as soon, if and when anything new happens with that, I'll definitely let you guys know. Like I said, I checked with the sheriff's department, and there's nothing new on it, so I will continue following that. David says Don is great. David, you are correct. Don at One Bad Apple is an awesome dude. He's got a huge heart. He's a gentleman. He's a gentleman who's a gentleman in the truest sense of the term. Good evening, Micaiah. Good evening, Meredith. Thank you for the 200 stars. You are a peach. You're wonderful. Thank you. So that's the update on Creekside. And it's 7:21. We're very close to the Midway Giveaway. Very close. And again, I'll give you the skinny on the Midway Giveaway. We will be giving away $25 gift card to Pizza Express, and we will also be giving away 2 tickets to the... We'll be giving away not 2 tickets to Paradise like Eddie Money sings, but we'll be giving away 2 tickets to Castro Valley Rotary's 24th annual walking tour, restaurant tour that will feature restaurants in Castro Valley Village and the Marketplace. So that will be happening in just a few minutes after the Midway Giveaway. So Matella says, thank you for the continued follow-up efforts. You're welcome. Oh, someone just corrected me. It was at Canyon, not Creekside. The assault was at Canyon, not Creekside. If I said Creekside, I'm going to slap my wrist. I apologize. Good evening, Patrick. Matella says it was at Canyon. So let me backtrack and give you that one more time. that he. That's why I said it, because I wrote it on this note on the list here for Creekside. It was Canyon, so I apologize. And thank you to everyone who corrected me. Our moderator says Nick the Greek is open. As of a few days ago, Nick the Greek was open, and their first day there was not a lot of people in there. So Mike says, what happened at Canyon? You missed it? Oh, Mike, you missed a doozy. One day there was what turned out to be some sort of verbal dispute between a 7th and 8th grader, and the 8th grader really beat up the younger student. There was a serious assault, and there's a lot of allegations going around regarding the reaction time from school administration. I think a lot of that situation is going to be I think it's going to be settled in a court of law. From what I understand, the parent is suing the school district, and I think that's probably how that situation's going to find some sort of resolution, if it actually does. So our moderator just posted our original post to what happened on the Canyon subject. So Mike, check out that link, and you can definitely edify yourself. You can just read it. I'm trying to use a fancy word. Just go ahead and you can check it out, and you can get up to speed with what happened. Michael is asking, the Midway giveaway, there will be 2 questions or just one? There will be 1. Maggie says, yes, there was a serious situation. There was also, Amakaya sent us 100 stars. I don't know if I mentioned that. Thank you so much. There was also a school board meeting last Wednesday where there was some public comment on the Canyon assault, and there were I think like 5 or 6 people who spoke, and there was one person who just outright demanded that school site people be fired, and also was requesting good evening, Denise, thank you and welcome to the show. This person also was suggesting that the superintendent, Amadi, be terminated. There were quite a few parents who called in. This was all during public comment, and it wasn't on the agenda, so the board could not respond to these comments. But there were quite a few folks. Good evening, Tanya. Waving right back at you, because Tanya just posted 3 of the waving emojis. Mike is saying, would having a resource officer on campus make a difference? He thinks so. That's one of the things that a lot of parents have kind of gone back and forth on in regards to that, because also, if you're not familiar with the topic, quite a few months ago, the Castro Valley Unified School District discontinued the SRO agreement with the sheriffs, and I think it's been since the beginning of the year, or maybe, I don't remember exactly the timeline, but there have been no SROs at Castro Valley Unified Schools for a time. Mike, I think what you bring up is probably could be more of a personal opinion for a lot of people. Personally, I think if there was a fight to that extent, I think, and then again, we're touching on some variables that we just don't know, because some people are saying that there were adults present, some other people are saying that there weren't. I think there were definitely students present. I think a student probably would have contacted SRO. Would the outcome have been different? I think we all can't go in the past and see what would have happened. So, I mean, it's a good point, but I don't know how to respond to that. It could go either way. Anyways, I'm belaboring this comment, but it's a great comment. It's a good point. So, getting back to the school board meeting, there were quite a few people who spoke during public comment in support of the school district, in support of the Canyon staff and the principal. There were quite a few people who spoke expressing sentiment that they do not support the SROs at schools. I think there was one person who said that, like Mike, the point that Mike made is that it could have made a difference. Bob was watching election news. Good evening, Bob. Good evening, Dustin. How are you doing? Dustin, sorry he's late. No worries. I'm glad you're here. So with that said, like I said, I think the rest of that situation is probably going to be settled in a court of law because, from what I understand, the parent is suing the school district in regard to that assault, and it was a pretty brutal assault. The student's lip was split. I believe she was being stomped on her face repeatedly, and oh no! I take no offense, Mike. I was trying to walk the center line and not give a firm opinion on that because I see both sides. There was a parent, I think his name was Bruce. He said he came from Michigan, and when he first got to Castro Valley, he wasn't acclimated to seeing law enforcement on school campuses. So it was kind of a shock to him. So he expressed that it was odd to have police or sheriffs on campus, and he commented that it may be intimidating to the students. And I think that was one of the things that the school district brought up to the forefront when they discontinued the contract with the sheriffs, is that some of the students felt intimidated by having sheriffs on campus. And I'm old, so I don't remember we didn't have SROs on campus. We had sheriffs come on campus sometimes when there were fights or when some other things were happening, but we had a school security guard who was an employee of the school district, and she had a great relationship with a lot of students, myself included. So that kind of positive reinforcement was fostering to us not misbehaving, even though we still misbehave plenty, but not to the extent where things were criminal. And I won't get into the details of the misbehaving that I did, but there was some serious misbehavior on my part, as we all do when we're kids. However, Bob says Castro Valley High football at Piedmont on Friday. Go Trojans. So, we're late for the Midway Giveaway. So, and like I said, let me give you the rules here. So the first person to text the correct answer to 510-331-9112. It's 510-331-9112 will win the $25 gift certificate. Ooh, it's upside down. To Pizza Express. And we'll also win 2 tickets to the Castro Valley Rotary 24th annual walking tour, restaurant tour of restaurants in Castro Valley Village and the Marketplace. That event will be September 21st, 2021 from 6 to 8 p.m. Thank you, Rotary, for putting on this wonderful event, and thank you, Todd Anglin, for purchasing and donating these tickets. So, and again, the first person to text the correct answer to 510-331-9112 wins all of the goodies. And tonight's question is, what was the name of the business in the village that they're closed? They've been closed a couple years. Was well known for the scent of potpourri around their front door. And it's a store that I miss personally because they had so much fun stuff in there, and the people there were just super nice. So one more time, text the correct answer to 510-331-9112. What gone but not forgotten Castro Village business? Someone just guessed wrong. What gone but not forgotten business in the village was well known for the scent of potpourri outside their front door? Somebody just got it. Okay. So Paulette got it correct, and somebody just came in so late. Oh, congratulations again, Paulette. So the answer was Dryden Tide. Miss Dryden Tide. Every time you walk by, I'm just potpourri. Wonderful scent. I'm gonna lean forward, so it'd be like, that's sorry guys. Got to be silly every once in a while. But congratulations, Paulette. Paulette won. Oh, that's, I can't even see that. That's why. Anyways, this is a gift, $25 gift certificate to Pizza Express and 2 tickets to the Rotary Club restaurant walk. So Paulette, I will bring those to you tomorrow to the same location that I brought them last time that you won. So congratulations, Paulette. The correct answer was closed a couple of years ago. And we did a little interview with the owner, and what a fun business that was. Nice people too. So yeah, let's cross that up. So we actually did get the Midway giveaway kind of on time. If anybody is listening and you've got like some election numbers that you're hearing, definitely post those in the comments, because I'm interested to hear how this is sizing up. And now that I'm thinking about it, I actually remembered the numbers that I had texted to myself that I deleted, like a genius that I am. It was something like 160 and between 160 and 180 million dollars for this election. It's a lot of money for this recall election. Somebody's just, we're still getting answers, but we have a winner. So thank you guys to everyone who's texting in. It's awesome to know that so many people are listening, but that's a lot of money coming from the state for this recall. And I'm not taking sides. Okay, there we go. Our moderator just posted up something about as soon as the polls close, the reports will begin rolling in here. And that's calmatters.org. They're pretty reliable and legit, so you can definitely get your election results from there. And Mike says understood, but the culture has changed since our days. I think having an officer on campus really allows the students to have exposure to the officers and help break down those barriers that may have negative thoughts. Some good points. David says Newsom gave away $160 million in a lottery instead of putting it toward forest management, but that's another story. I don't think Newsom wanted the recall, but like you said, that's probably another story. And I know we're probably going to get into party politics, and that might get ugly. That's kind of a third rail thing, and I don't want to go there. Laura's asking any updates on the body found on Redwood Road last week. It is being, we posted something a couple days ago, and the sheriffs are definitely have this confirmed. It's a homicide. So they are looking for information on from anyone who may have been driving by during that time frame. I don't have the date or the time right on the tip of my fingers. I'll ask our moderator to find that for us, so that you can check the date and time and see if you may have been driving down Redwood Road at that time. But Laura, to give you the Reader's Digest condensed version, it's being investigated as a homicide. And unfortunately, the sheriffs don't have a lot of information to go with, other than like obviously it's being investigated as a homicide, that there's definitely some foul play happening there. So if anything else comes up, Laura, I'll definitely share that with you. But you can also check the timeline for the date, our comment timeline, to see what day and time that was. I think it was 2:30 in the afternoon on a Sunday, or was it Saturday, that that body was found on Redwood Road. Maggie is tagging more people. Thank you so much. Tagging Monette. Bob says NBC exit polls show data consistent with polls. No results till polls close. David says, has Alameda County Sheriff's Office released the identity of the victim? I have not heard anything. Bob says, congratulations to the Giants for clinching the playoffs. A's are 7, Kansas City 4, bottom of the 5th. Go A's. Go A's, the team, but stay in Oakland, please. Bob says, but why do officers on campus intimidate students? Isn't that part of the reason to have them around to get to know each other? I think in today's climate, with some of the things that have happened with police violence and the sensitivity surrounding that, the justifiable, completely understandable sensitivity around that, and the feelings surrounding that, I think that is where the intimidation factor came from. And I'm going to be completely fair. I get that. I understand that. I'm trying to think back, what was my brain like when I was in high school, other than silly and just totally into mischief? I probably would have been intimidated as well. Let's see. David said he knew the answer to the Midway giveaway. Good evening, Dave. I'm going to give David another shout out. David is the owner of Daily Dose Plant-Based Health. If you have issues with anxiety, losing sleep, if you're looking for great natural snacks and natural, organic, vegan proteins, Daily Dose Plant-Based Health is your go-to place. David knows this stuff. He's not just selling things. He's a vegan. He knows what he's doing. So shout out to David for supporting me and being a good friend and an awesome guy around town. You're welcome, David. Thank you, sir. So let me mention this real fast so that I can. Mike is bringing up the Rodney King situation didn't help at all back then. You bring up something that I actually was one of the first thoughts that went through my mind when I saw the George Floyd murder. I immediately thought of Rodney King because I lived through that. And Mike, we may be of the same. Oh, Mike, you don't have to shut up at all. I appreciate your comments. One of the first things that I thought about was Rodney King and how disgusting and striking that was. And it's not striking; it was shocking. It was shocking to see something like that happen in America in that day and age when it happened. And when the verdict came through and the riots started, there was a duality of feelings within me, that I saw all this violence, but I was hopeful that something good or some change would come from that violence, meaning the riots. And it seems like that never happened. And I not to say that we haven't made any progress or anything of that nature, but it's just seemed like if you fast forward a bunch of years and there's a police officer who just blatantly kills an African American man on the street by leaving his knee on him for that disgusting amount of time, it seems like we may have not made much progress. But thankfully, people are more aware of the realities that are in our world. And I'm getting really grave here. I'm sorry, but we've got a lot of work to do, and hopefully, thankfully, a lot of people are recognizing that there are problems in our society that need to be addressed. Good evening to Carol. Thank you for saving me from that comment. I was breaking myself down. Good evening, Tanya. Feels like there's been very little progress. I agree. There's been some. I think more people are aware that we have a cancer of racism in our society. So I guess if there's a silver lining, that's it right there. But let me move on to something else that's more upbeat. So on Saturday, September 18th, this is cool. At Lake Chabot, the Park District will mark 2021 World Peace Day, unveiling a peace pole at Lake Chabot. We posted something about this today if you want to check it out. There will be a number of fun things happening. So there will be student speakers, invited elected officials. This will be at Lake Chabot. They are suggesting that you RSVP Saturday, September 18th from 10 to 1. The event check-in begins at 9:30. That's important to note. Please plan to arrive by 9:45. More information and registration is at www.ebparks.org/World Peace Day. So you can just look up ebparks.org, and I'm sure you can navigate through the website and find the registration for this event. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be at the Cove picnic site at Lake Chabot. Again, Saturday, September 18th, 2021. This is free. It's free. International World Peace Day. So that was on the list. Cross that off. Oh, hey, you guys want to talk about Bancheros and the rumors that are happening around Bancheros? So, and we got, I'm only bringing this up, I know it's Hayward. It's it's actually technically Cherryland. Bancheros, the street address is Hayward, but they're located kind of on the cusp between Ashland and Cherryland. So I know there's going to be plenty of, it's just kind of a wacky geographical location, but it's not Castro Valley. It's technically, the mailing address is Hayward. And I know people are sensitive when we discuss things that are not Castro Valley. And that's kind of been an interesting thing, because like when I share things about Hayward, there are people who comment, oh, this is Hayward news now. And I think I understand that people just want to go to Castro Valley News and see Castro Valley News. But Castro Valley people travel to Hayward, we travel to San Francisco, we travel to Berkeley, we travel to Union City, we travel to, did I say Berkeley? We travel to Berkeley. Bob says Bancheros, Castro Valley claims Bancheros. Yes, we do. We claim Val's Burgers too. To get to the point and not belabor it anymore, I'm going to apologize to people who are sensitive to us talking about things that are not Castro Valley, but there's a ton of people from Castro Valley who remember Bancheros fondly. Myself, I am in that group. So yesterday someone posted that they just left the area of Bancheros. Workers have been inside 3 weeks remodeling. There's new doors. Worker wouldn't say if it's going to be Bancheros again. This person is thinking yes. The answer is no. It's not going to be Bancheros again. I would love for them to come back. I would. Mike says, I don't claim the prices at Val's. They're expensive, but they're worth it. But we have to claim George. So if we claim George, we have to claim Val's, because George is just, I love George. I love George. I love George and his family. They're amazing, incredible, generous, good people. So getting back to Bancheros. So there's this post that was on a Hayward page yesterday. It's got like 300 comments, 100 shares. It's making the rounds, and a couple people have messaged me about it. This was pre-COVID. This was quite a few years ago. Let's see. David says prices of everything have gone up. Southern Comfort just raised their prices a little. Yep, David designed their menus. And I'm going to say, David, if Southern Comfort raised their prices, they're worth it. If you haven't tried Southern Comfort, go check them out. And our moderator was kind and wonderful enough to post our recent news of Val's. We also did a video review with Cedric at Val's. They're doing takeout. You have to drive up and call. I'm not going to turn this into a commercial for Val's, because frankly they don't need it, but they deserve the attention, they deserve the love. George, if you're out there, I love you. You are awesome. So for the people who are wondering about Banchero's reopening, it's not going to happen. And it's sad that they've been closed, and that they closed Mike says Val's handed him a glass bottle of Heinz ketchup for free when he ordered $70 worth of burgers, fries, and rings. That sounds like George. Every time I show up and I see George, he wants to give me a burger, he wants to give me a soda, he wants to give me a milkshake. And I know I've known George for a lot of years, as probably many of you guys have as well. You will not meet a more genuinely generous soul who is just, whenever he just smiles, and he's just one of my favorite people. So Bancheros, yeah. David says, does Val's have Impossible or Beyond Burgers yet? Would love to support, but the days of eating dead animals are numbered. David, I wish they did. I think they're just doing regular burgers, and particularly during the... yes, Jamie says, George, Pamela, all of them. Yes, I agree. The entire family are just amazing, generous, sweet, super people. Getting back to David's comment in regards to Val's, no, I wish they did vegetarian stuff, and it breaks my heart when I go there and George wants to give me a burger and I tell him, George, I'm a vegetarian. But he gives me a water or a soda, so it's and usually a hug, which is better than any food. So, and George mentioned, I'm sorry, David says the days of eating dead animals are numbered, and that's a vegan to a vegetarian. I'm there with you, brother. I'm there with you. Maureen says, do you know what will be in the Banchero space? From what I've heard, it may be a restaurant component combined with a cooking school for special needs individuals. I think that's kind of up in the air. There are people who keep saying that, we see people working in there, something's got to happen. And to be honest with you, they've been working on it for years. They've been doing stuff in there for years, for many years, off and on. And I will cross my fingers and hope that maybe this new person might have some of the Banchero's recipes, but I'm very, very doubtful, because those are family recipes, and I don't think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be going. Jamie says she heard that several years ago, and yes, it was several years ago when the new individual purchased the building, or leased the building from the Banchero family. But like I said, there may or may not be some sort of restaurant component combined with the culinary school for special individuals, different needs individuals. So that's the last thing I heard. That doesn't mean that hasn't changed, but that was my understanding not too long ago. And going back to when Banchero's closed, my understanding was, and that was how many years ago, guys? Over 10 years ago. Their kitchen the entire kitchen needed to be upgraded. And basically, it would probably be starting from scratch to redo the entire kitchen, which was one of the factors why Banchero's kind of shut her down. So, and by no means am I saying anything disparaging about Banchero's, because we grew up going there. We had all of our huge family soirees. Soirees is like that's a $2 word, soiree, because there's an accent in it as well. Sorry, but yeah, Banchero's is near and dear to me, and again, I'm going to ask our moderator. Our moderator's earning his pay tonight. We have posted numerous times a recipe for the next best thing recipe for Banchero soup, and also for their garlic bread. So I'm going to ask our moderator to fish those out. Probably just a keyword of Banchero's would probably net both of those. And I know a couple people, my mom, thank you, Mom. My mom has actually made the next best thing soup a couple times, and it's pretty close to Banchero soup. And the garlic bread is as well. And I need to go back to a comment that Bob said. Bob says, when George offers you a burger, call me. Yeah. Mike is asking, what is a pescatarian? A pescatarian, the only meat that they eat is fish. And Jamie says, if they can fix up the old Dacia building, they can do just about anything. I agree. Mike says, I think Banchero's paved the way for Olive Garden. I agree. So, we are done with Banchero. So we're going to talk about that for a second. Oh, I should have mentioned earlier, and I seem to always forget to do it at the appropriate time, but I definitely want to let you know that the Midway Giveaway was sponsored by tonight's sponsor, Forester.org. And they are a local nonprofit with a mission to reforest urban communities. You can learn more about them on their website at forester.org. That's Forestr.org. That's right. Yes, so forester.org, Forestr.org. If you're ever driving around town and you see people in vests on the weekend picking up garbage near the freeway on or off ramps, that's Forester. That's those folks. They also did a couple plant giveaways where they gave away a bunch of, I think, fruits and veggies, plants, and succulents as well. So thank you, Forester, for all the good stuff that you do in our community by cleaning and greening. Isn't that right? So I'll give you that one more time since I'm late. Forester.org. They are a local nonprofit. They live in Castro Valley. They're not big, huge company in the UK. Forester.org, local nonprofit with a mission to reforest urban communities. Forester.org is the website. So we're at 53 minutes. I've got nothing else on the list. I do have something else, but I want to save it for next week. I've got another story from Lucille that I wanted to share, but I want to save it for... Oh, also, our moderator did unearth the Banchero soup recipe. It's in the thread. And I got to tell you, download that recipe, make a copy of it, put it on your fridge, because it's that close to Banchero stuff. I mean, if you miss their soup, that recipe's for you guys. It's so close, it's ridiculous. It's not ridiculous, it's amazing. Bob is saying, anyone enjoying Nick the Greek? Has anybody tried Nick the Greek yet? The day that they were open, I cruised by, and there were like 2 people in there, so I wonder. Oops. Yeah, there you go. Moderator says, is Lucille listening? Lucille, are you listening? If you're there, post up a comment, and I'll definitely give your last story, because I think we've got enough time. I should just do it. Okay, guys, so I'm going to close out the story with the show with another story from Lucille Lorge. And I want to do this every time I read one of her stories. Lucille is amazing. She is a great friend, has been a great friend for a number of years, and I want to thank her for her generosity in sharing all of her local stories. This is one that we... Oh, okay. Matilla says she went to Nick the Greek on Sunday and they were busy, so that's a good sign. And moderator said that Lucille came on a moment ago and let us know that she was here. So thank you, Lucille. If you're still listening, thank you so much. I appreciate your generosity sharing all of your wonderful Castro Valley stories and your historical knowledge. Here is another story from Lucille in regard to Golden Tee Golfland. And this is a little bit of a long one, so I'm going to read this. I'm going to be reading for a minute here, guys, so bear with me. Most of us in the valley have at one time visited the mini golf course on the boulevard with its dragon heads coming out of a volcano. So before its existence, around 1930, Harry Payne, that's Paine, had a real estate office there. His motto was clean, clean deals and dirt, which is great. And clean deals and dirt was written in bold print on the front of his building. After his death, his wife took over the business with their son, who operated a kiln for drying lumber. He also housed a large walk-in safe, which was used to store the day's receipts until a bank moved into town. So before there was a Castro Valley bank, that safe, for lack of a better term, was Castro Valley's bank. The Dragon Heads were not in the original plan for the golf course, but when they tried to move the safe, it was far too heavy, so it was then covered with concrete to resemble a volcano, and the Dragon Heads were placed on top of them. They originally had a large glass case with mounted bears as an added attraction and pinball machines. Bob Anthony, who was the manager for 40 years, said the Dragons were the landmark for Golfland, and yes, the safe was still there. Mini golf courses were becoming a hot commodity in the early 1960s. So this is Lucille. This is her recollection. I remember standing in the window of our business, R&J Quick Clean, across the street, as the workers tore down the building and tried to budge the safe. It still remains in its safe place under the Dragons. Photos of the area before the golf course was built are on the wall of R&J Quick Cleaners. And Lucille closes this with, "We need a Castro Valley History Museum." And I agree. So thank you, Lucille. That story is one of my absolute favorites that Lucille has shared a couple times in the past few years. So Denise says, "Thank you for the recipe." You're welcome. So with that said, our moderator said, "So there is a safe under there. I always wondered if that was true." It is true. Lucille says it's true, so there you go. So if you guys have a comment, question, confession, complaint, 510-331-9112 is the cell number here if you would like to phone something in. I'm going to look at, let's see here. I've got the New York Times California recall election results website here, and there's no numbers up yet. So we're going to have to wait. Oh, it's 8 o'clock right now. So you would think maybe something's going to come in, but it may be a while before we get some results in. So I'm sure everyone will be listening to see what the results are. Denise is wondering who won the contest, and that was Paulette. Paulette won the contest. Sue says that is a favorite of all the CV kids she has spoken to in their classroom. And yes, Lucille has also been generous enough with her time to go to Castro Valley schools and share some of her historical stories. And that story right there of the safe under the cement at Golden Tee Golfland where the Dragons are is awesome. Such a great story. There's no numbers in, and Mike is demanding a recount already. So there you go. Bob says he's going to go to the election return. See you next week on the Steve at the big board. Okay. Denise is asking, where was it? The answer to the Midway Giveaway was Dried and Tide, was the wonderful business in the village that always smelled like potpourri. Miss it a lot. Anyways, that's the show. You guys have been great. If you feel like it, you can click on the comments and send us some stars if you want to. If you don't, that's cool too. We love you just the same. So we will see you, or you'll see me. You'll see me and you'll hear me next Tuesday at 7 p.m. We do this every week. We talk about things that are happening, things that are on our mind. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. That's an hour and 30 some odd seconds. Thank you guys so much. When the going gets weird, the word to a pro. Be good to yourselves. Be good to your neighbors.